It's Tuesday, December 18th, Wednesday, December 19th, if you're on the East Coast or across the pond. And this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great day and night. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North, on top of the green, luscious mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you nightly on the SOR Radio Network and Deep Talk Radio. If you want to listen to our archives, we have them free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old baby the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You could rock out to Bumblefoot, soon shop at our store, read up on the SOR Newswire, and so much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel in Suho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. Go to our website, click on the In Suho banner, and subscribe today. A week tonight, it'll be Christmas Day, where most people across the world will be celebrating the holidays with family and friends. Some will celebrate with a religious meeting, honoring the birth of Jesus Christ, while others will just have to take the time and be happy with the time to share with their loved ones, friends, family, whoever it is. Of course, there will be those who are working, like emergency workers, and those who have no one to share the day with. But we got to send them love as well. Well, we have one of those families this Christmas celebrating for the first time without a loved one. And if you're like my family, that's going to suck this year. It's going to suck. Maybe it's your first one without a pet, or maybe you're just alone for the first time. Just have some strength. Tonight, United Methodist Church Reverend Keith Bradley joins us to talk about the history of Christmas, along with the traditions that really didn't start out as a Christmas celebration. We'll also get into whether or not the meaning of Christmas has been lost by commercialization and political correctness. Is there a war on Christmas? We'll find out. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, Olaf Phillips from Paranoia Magazine is back with another edition of the SOR Newswire. Reverend Keith Bradley, good to have you back on Spaced Out Radio, my friend. What a blessing. Merry Christmas to you. How are you doing?
Merry Christmas, Dave. Doing great. It's great to be with you tonight.
Very good to be with you as well. Now, Christmas has become a little bit of a controversial subject for many people. And we're going to focus on North America here. Many people across North America, it started probably about 25 years ago when, all these big chain companies, you weren't allowed to say Merry Christmas anymore. You had to say season's greetings or happy holidays. And that was really the start of all of it. And a lot of people have figured that there, since that time, has become a real war on Christmas. It's the people who are pushing the more religious side, that this is a Christian holiday that should be celebrated as such. And there are those to say, this is a holiday of peace, love, and joy, and remembrance, and family. And that's what we need to be moving forward. You're someone who is caught in the middle because you're a little bit of a different type of preacher. You are someone who preaches the gospel of God, yet you love a good ghost and alien story, which I find a little ironic, but your open-mindedness, I think, is really cool. So let's get down to it right off the bat here, because there really is no warm-up to this show. Is there a war on Christmas in your mind?
I'm going to answer this two ways. Yes and no. In the sense that we see in the media, a war on Christmas, and as many Christians bemoan, there's a war on the holiday because you can't say Merry Christmas, or they don't say Merry Christmas when you go to your favorite store. That's silly. That's just silly. I don't agree with that at all. However, I do believe in a broader spiritual sense that goes across religious lines. There is a war on the season, and that season of light, that season of love, that season of giving, and that goes across whether you're Jewish or whether you celebrate, like some of my friends, they're what you call neo-pagans, and they celebrate the solstice time and the Yule time. There is, I believe, a more of a spiritual, a supernatural thing happening, but it has nothing to do with the perceived war on Christmas. Now, there's a lot of Christians that disagree with me. A lot of in my church would disagree with me on that. But I try to look at the bigger things, the broader things, not the surface, what I consider personally kind of petty things like they didn't say Merry Christmas at Walmart or wherever. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, I think it's a little bit important because there's a lot of people out there, and tonight has a potential to be, a little bit of a controversial show. There's going to be people saying, what the hell is a paranormal show talking about Christmas and commercialization and all of that kind of stuff? But it all kind of wraps into what we're talking about tonight, which is the holiday season. And I think it's an important topic to hit on because this is one that affects everybody. And, sometimes we're going to go into different type of topics here. And I think it's good. I think it's healthy conversation, which is what this is all about. And when I look at it, all right, I see a lot of people out there who say, you know what? I'm okay with a holiday tree. I'm okay with holiday lights, holiday parades, and everything used to have the title of Christmas. And I also understand, too, that as the United States and Canada have become more multicultural with a lot more people and a lot more religions and a lot more different values coming in, that there has to be a modicum of respect for everybody. But on the flip side, do you think today's public is familiar or not wanting to be familiar with the reason why Christmas is Christmas?
Yeah, I do believe there is a certain amount of that, when you get right down to it, Christmas, the Mass of Christ, because this is what the word is a religious celebration. And we tend to use this word for the entire season, the Christmas season. And probably many people say, I celebrate Christmas, but they definitely don't do it in the religious sense or the Christian religious sense. For them, it is about the trees and the Santa Claus and the snowmen and all that other stuff, which I love. I'm sitting in my living room now, and it looks like Christmas threw up here. I've got snowmen, and I've got a Winnie the Pooh over there, and I've got a big Christmas tree. We love Christmas. But for us, that's the holiday seasoning decorations. Christmas, it is a religious observance. And no matter how we cut this, no matter how we want to slice it, that is what Christmas is. You can't get around it. It is a Christian religion, a Christian religious festival. Now, should we broaden this for the season? Yeah, I think so. Especially those who are celebrating life and love and giving and those good qualities of humanity. The season's big enough for all of them, I think.
It is something that I think is a little bit more customary, because I think a lot of people back in the day felt the religious aspect of everything, Keith, was kind of shoved down our throats. And then as we learned, because we as human beings, we always seem to look for excuses on not why not to like someone. And maybe you're at the bar one night as a 19-year-old here in Canada or a 21-year-old down in the US, and you see one of these people who you really can't stand, who goes to a certain church, and there they are womanizing, getting all hammered up, and the next thing you know, they're picking fights, and trust me, I've seen this. I'm using this as a prime example of the community that I grew up in. And, the next day on the Sunday, they're at the church, expecting everything to be going A-okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all right.
Oh, I know.
And I think society in general really, really, Keith, just got tired of that type of hypocrisy. People who are blinded by the church, and in the meantime are getting ripped off on their daily lives by these same people who claim to be holy.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you're preaching to the choir here, and I'm with them. I'm so fed up at times with my quote-unquote brothers and sisters in Christ, because you profess one thing and you live another, and this destroys any kind of witness, as we would say in the church, for your faith. It makes my job as a pastor 3 times harder. And what is amazing to me, I mean, just simply amazing, is that if you go into the pages of the New Testament, you see Jesus dealing with the same kind of people in the Jewish faith at that time as you've mentioned in the Christian faith in our time. And nothing has changed. And I'm going, guys, you're reading the same Bible I am? Jesus is taking them apart for doing the same thing that we're doing. When you got to wake up. And I guess this is one of the reasons I'm a pastor. Because I never intended to be a pastor. That wasn't in my, wheelhouse way back when. But at some point, you've got to stand up and say, hold it, this is no more. And I've got to say to people who aren't Christian, listen, this is not what the faith is about. This person you're seeing, guess what? They're human, they're flawed, they mess up just like you and I.
Well,
no different.
Do we, though, as society, the people who have seen too much of it, all right, maybe it's personal, maybe it's televangelists begging for multi-million-dollar aircraft, the people who have seen too much of it, are they just as responsible for it because the hypocrisy, if we could use that word again, of saying, one size fits all when it comes to the religious community? Because obviously, Keith, I know for a fact you're not flying around doing ministry in a $65 million plane that your congregation has bought for you, that you begged for, saying that God told you to speak. You fly commercial with all the other demons on the plane, as has been stated publicly, and I'm sure you roll your eyes at when you see that. But for the majority of people out there who don't go to church or have a religious background, in reality, that becomes a real big and wide paintbrush that society is starting to paint on those who believe in God and Jesus.
You're absolutely correct. And here's where the local church, not the TV evangelists, the jet flying. I saw yesterday, God gave him a Lamborghini now to give his wife or something like that. But anyway, this is where the church in the last, let's say 50 years, has set back on its laurels. And it's gotten the idea that we've won the battle, the doors are open, the lights are on, everyone should be come trooping in. And they forgot the teachings of Christ, that it's a personal thing. It's not a corporate thing. It's not the doors are open, you better come here for salvation. It's a one-on-one community thing. It's talking to your neighbors and the people at the bars and at the restaurant and getting involved in the life of the community. It's doing what the first century church did. And so when we stopped doing that, when we just said, okay, yeah, we're here, turn on the lights, people should come in, well, you see the church starting to go down and losing its effectiveness, the good effect that it has in society, not the hypocritical effect that we've seen in the recent years, but those good effects in society, because they're not doing the mission. They're not doing what the founder said to do. And you get this, and you lose the influence. And so Christmas, it's just a symptom of this problem, that we don't know what the meaning of Christmas is. And we try to enforce it and, like you say, jam it down people's throats and say, you must do this. That's silly. That's wrong. That's a sin.
Yes, but other people, Keith, will say it's about interpretation, because your interpretation of the Bible and the holidays is going to be different from somebody who is, Protestant or Catholic or just evangelical or whatever it may be. And it's a little ridiculous when you can't have there is no real definition, because it's all of what the person feels on it. If everybody had the same definition, we sure as heck would not have any cults. We definitely wouldn't have 5,000 different religions preaching to a God out there. That's for sure. If everybody read it the same.
No, I agree. And that's the human condition. That's what we have to deal with. Even when there was one Christian church, when there was the one holy and apostolic Catholic church, that itself is not exactly true. Yeah, one church, and I believe there is one church, if we want to get into theology here, there is one body of Christ made up of a lot of different people, a lot of different, denominations. But even in the early stages of the New Testament period, we can read that there was schisms and splits and different interpretations. Paul had one interpretation, Peter had another interpretation, and so this is nothing new. This is something we have to tend with, I guess. And if you look at all the religions, choose one. You're going to find the same thing to various degrees. It's the tendency of human beings to do that.
Understandable with that, but as society, especially over the last 20, 25 years, and I'm sure you have seen it within your congregation, where people are moving away from the church, Keith, and moving away from the messages of holidays and of the traditions that kind of go along with it. How has that affected what you are doing on a daily basis?
It has forced me to readjust the way I present the faith. Because while people, there is a tendency in North America of moving away from the organized church. Worldwide, you don't see that, but we're dealing with North America right now. We're dealing with us. And there is that tendency. But what we see on the other side of that is a rise in spirituality. And in the religious trade, we call them nuns, not affiliated. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus Christ. They believe in the virgin birth. They believe in all of this stuff that you and I would check off and go, okay, that makes them part of that religion. but they don't believe in the organized church because the organized church has let them down. The organized church has been caught with its hands in the till. It's been caught with its hands on people's bodies. It's been used to divide. It's become a political instrument, and it's not meeting the needs of this generation. So for me, I have to reinterpret the church for these individuals. Not reinterpret God, not reinterpret the Bible, but the church, and find ways to reach out and minister to them in a new and unique way, while still doing the old stuff that the old folks like. If that makes sense to you, if I didn't ramble too much.
No, we got about 90 seconds before we got to go to break here. And I'm curious, though, with some of the people, especially, I'm going to assume it's the younger generations that seem to be more on their own path of trying to find what is right. You mentioned that a lot of these people who are leaving the church are leaving for specific reasons, not so much about the belief or the lack of faith. How does that mix in with the congregation of today who still wants those old school ways or those very strict type of laws that you should be following as a good Christian person?
Well, as a pastor, you walk a tightrope trying to blend these two bodies together and say that we are one church, and that we have the freedom to do this and to do that. And frankly, it's tough. It's tough to do because in a lot of ways, the support of the church comes from the older generation. But it's moving to the point of seeing that they're going to have to change in order to reach this new generation. That just takes God because Keith can't do it on his own, it's an interesting struggle, an interesting path you have to walk.
And on that note, Keith, I'm going to get you to hold on here because we're going to step away for our first break of the night. Reverend Keith Bradley from United Methodist Church is with us. Christmas traditions, people pulling away from the church, the history of Christmas, commercialization. We're getting into it all tonight with the Reverend Keith. We'll be back more with Spaced Out Radio right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Music is on. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you with us. United Methodist priest, Reverend Keith Bradley is with us tonight. We're talking Christmas traditions. Reverend Keith, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. No priest.
Always a pleasure. I know. I just can't erase that. I just can't erase that accidentally. You know, and to all your parishioners who are listening in as well with an open mind, thank you so much for tuning us all in as well. Reverend, you know, one of the things that that intrigues me about you, and before we get too heavily into the whole Christianity part and the traditional part of Christmas, you are a little bit of an anomaly in the religious aspect, because you actually tune into this show almost nightly. You're always listening. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a show on ghosts, it's a show on aliens or Bigfoot or whatever it may be. Why are you such an anomaly in the religious community for learning and understanding about these topics that so many fear?
Well, I don't know if I'm an anomaly. One, I'm a night owl, which that does make me an anomaly among my brethren, because preachers are supposed to be, early risers. And boy, I struggle with that. So, but a lot of the people I've talked to recently are really kind of closet paranormalists. A lot of them like it. A lot of them are interested in it. I found a lot of interest in my church. Just, what do you feel about this and this and this? And so I think what it is the perception people have that if you like these things, you're a little bit weird. It doesn't fit with the Christian persona. Well, I threw that Christian persona out years ago. I'm Keith. I'm who I am, warts and all. And I like this stuff. And I think there's a great connection between the paranormal, the supernatural, and what religious people believe. I don't believe there is as big a conflict as we might think. It's more of a interpretation and understanding each other's worldview. A Christian is going to come out of some of these things from a Christian worldview. A Jewish person would come at it from a Jewish worldview. Someone in Islam would come from an Islamic worldview. And if you're not in an organized religion, you're going to come at it from your own personal worldview. So it's something I've just always been interested in.
Do you believe though that there are ghosts walking around? Because there's a lot of people, and one of the biggest ironies that I find from a lot of religious people, Keith, and we're not degrading religious people here, we're learning, but one of the ironic tales that I find is, all the ghosts out there are demons, yet we have to believe in a Holy Ghost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. And the thing of it is, the idea, the concept that all of the quote-unquote ghosts are demons is not is a recent concept. In the past, religious leaders, supported the idea of ghosts in various different ways, trying to explain what a ghost was. And we're seeing today, or I'm seeing in various religious circles, once again, people saying, no, they're not necessarily demons. They may be spirits of the dead. And part of that comes from going back to Scripture and going, look, they're talking about ghosts. Look, Jesus says to the disciples, come and touch me. I'm not a phantom. I'm not a ghost. So there is a change out there. But you do get that, and a lot of that comes from a fundamentalist point of view, an evangelical fundamentalist point of view. There's a whole history of what different denominations have believed in what a ghost is. For example, the Catholic Church, we could, not that I have the knowledge on my head, but I've done reading in it that there is, it's changed over time. What is it? Is it, people in purgatory? Is it not people in purgatory? Is it what is it? And so it's not as monolithic as you think. But here's where the rub is. Those people who believe it's demons and want to look at you and say, you are talking to demons, they're the ones with the microphones and the ones with the loud mouths. The rest of the religious world, they're kind of sitting in the back. They're not getting involved.
What about extraterrestrials?
Well, that's an interesting one. The Catholic Church has never had a real problem with extraterrestrials in recent history. There's and I will tear up what the policy is, but it's the idea that God is so great He can make life everywhere. I asked this around my church a little bit, and I don't have a problem with, there's intelligent life on other planets. Now, and this is off track, I don't see any support that life from other planets has been here. Now, extraterrestrial from somewhere else, I'm more of that, dimensional kind of extraterrestrial guy. But the times are changing in the church when it comes to things like this. And this is the nuns. They have more of an open mind. They don't just buy into the dogma. They ask the questions. Why? Why do you say that? Where do you find that? Show it to me. And that's exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be saying, okay, Keith, you said this. Prove it to me from Scripture. Go and show me where you get this. And that's healthy. That's healthy. So, it's... there is a change out there. There's a change.
Is that a healthy change, though?
That they question?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely positive. In my book, it is a healthy change. Because when you do not question the leadership of your church, when you do not question even what you believe, you can be so led astray. The people that Jim Jones led astray, they didn't question Jim. It used to be, I know, questioning in the Catholic faith, because my wife was born and raised Catholic. That was a big no-no. And I know the first time where she converted, and the pastor preached, and I didn't agree with something. I said, I'm going to go talk to him. I don't think that's right. And she almost had a high-speed come apart. You don't question the pastor. Yes, you do. In our tradition, you do that. We talk, we debate, we reason. You're supposed to know your scripture. You're supposed to be able to go to it. And you're supposed to be able to trust your leadership. But part of that trust is you got to verify. I tell my congregation, anytime I say something you do not agree with, come and talk to me. Guess what? I might be wrong. I might have said it wrong. And they do. And they do. And I think that's one of the healthiest things that can happen to the church in North America in a long time. Questioning why we do things, why we believe such things. Because that's the only way people are going to understand them, to take them in, make them their own.
Keith, we only got about 10 minutes here before we got to go to break here, and I think this is a good time to kind of turn the tides on tonight's topic, which is really getting into Christmas tradition. Why do you think so many religions refuse to admit that Christmas Day was originally a pagan type holiday?
Well, I would disagree with you, Dave. Christmas Day did not start out, the 25th of December did not start out as a pagan holiday. In fact, it was the other way around. And this may be just kind of, new to you, new to the listeners. But I did a little research, so I knew what I was talking about. The 25th of December was that in AD 274 AD, the Roman Emperor made it the official cult of the Solus Invictus, the sun god. Okay, but here's the problem. That was in 274. In the year 204, the church determined December 25th was the birth date of Christ. So it was the Romans that took the Christian date, not the Christians taking the Roman date. However, we get along about the 1100s, and they're still celebrating the Roman pagan now, because Christianity is the majority religion, festivals. And so what happened is that the church baptized the pagan holidays, the celebration of the sun, my mind just went blank of the Saturnalia. That was 2-week, something like that, holiday. And so then the practices of the holiday was baptized into the church. And that happened once again as the Christianity spread into the German and to the Celtic regions. And this is where we get the tradition of evergreens and lights and presents and gifts and a Yule log and, the whole 9 yards. So it wasn't that it started out a pagan holiday, but what the church did was it then baptized the practice. What I mean is, okay, your evergreen, you're bringing it in because it shows the life and continuity, and then you got the lights on it because we're celebrating the solstice, that it's the wheel of the year. No, you're celebrating Christ. You're celebrating his birthday. It's evergreen because Christ lives forever. So you see how they baptize the beliefs. This is nothing unusual. You can see this in Jewish religions. You can see it in the various Canaanite religions and the Egyptian religions. As people bump up to each other, they absorb traditions. They take in traditions and they make them their own, and they reinterpret traditions. We sometimes forget that nothing was done in a fishbowl, by itself. And this is hard a lot for my church when I have to teach them, that name for God is also the name that they used here in this other religion. And that kind of freaks them out, But I'm going, it's their neighbors. It's where they lived. It's where they came from. Why do you think it'd be different, Now, they act different and they're interpreted differently, but it's still the same. So, December 25th, it was chosen because of the death of Christ, not the birth of Christ. And they did all this figuring, and they had him dying in March. And so they figured 9 months before this. This is tradition, ancient traditions of numbering things. It had to happen, 9 months before that. He was born, so it was, December 25th. No one knows when Jesus was born. Some of the best archaeoastrology will put him at September 11th, 3 A.D., something Dr. Mike Heiser had put out in one of his blogs. But this is the date that the church chose in the year 204 A.D. as the birth of Jesus. And it wasn't until 274 that the Romans said, no, we're going to celebrate the sun god on that day. So it's a little bit the other way around. And it gets confused because the church then adopted the practices of the pagan celebrations, making them their own. How was that for a ramble?
I thought it was great. We got about 3.5 minutes before we got to go to break here. So in regards to the history of it, are you saying then that, this predates, or the Christian date of December 25th predates any type of paganism, any type of Celtic type relationship with their own spirituality or other beliefs?
It wasn't chosen based on their beliefs. It was chosen, and then as Christianity spread, they found it fell within this time of the Celtic Yule, or the Saturnalia, and things. The birth of Christ in 2004, or 204, which was determined someplace, I can't think right now, in Africa, actually, was then imported into an already existing. No, this is when we do our winter celebration. But it wasn't a pagan holiday that the good old boys of the church sat around and going, let's use the 25th. That'll teach them. It was 25th before
Christmas was widely celebrated across Europe, but its pagan roots died hard, and for many centuries, people marked the holiday with
before the Romans assigned it a holiday for the sun god. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a lot, and I'm gonna, put you on the spot here a little bit, because there's a lot of people out there who believe that they did it to copy the Roman calendar and the pagan holiday of the solstice because it was so popular.
Oh, absolutely. That's why they took the practices and say, listen, we're going to copy these. We're going to Christian them up. We're going to give them a different interpretation. And it was to, I'm going to say this crass, forgive me, everyone. It's marketing. This is how we're going to reach these people. We're going to let them keep their Christmas tree, but now we're going to tell them the truth of the Christmas tree. We're going to let them keep their lights, but let me tell you the truth of the lights. Does that make sense? While the date wasn't chosen, how we celebrate in what we call outside, the Christmas traditions of the people, the Christmas tree and the Yule log and the candles and everything, that's totally acquired from the various religious groups like the Celts and the Romans and the various groups.
Apparently, I had a pop-up ad come up, so I apologize to our listeners. Yeah, I was doing some research, and I hit a website. And usually, I'm quick to put them on mute, all the website windows on mute, and so apparently I didn't on that one. And a pop-up ad before I could get rid of it came up. So I do apologize to people who were listening in. That was a amateur snafu right there, amateur snafu. But what do you?
Those things happen.
Yeah. My friend, I'm going to get you to hold on as we are going to get ready for hour number 2 here of Spaced Out Radio. Coming on the other side of the clock, United Methodist Church Reverend Keith Bradley is with us. We're talking Christmas. We're talking traditions, history, and so much more. Coming up here on the Mighty SOR.
Every night on Space Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you with us. Tomorrow night on the show, Mike Morin is back with another edition of Ghosts of the Great White North with special guest Morgan Knudsen. We get going at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on the SOR Radio Network and Deep Talk Radio. Remember, all of our archives are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Bill Cardwell has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Hypercathexis. Hypercathexis is your password. Nobody really knows what it means, but Bill sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot soon, shop at our brand new store, read up on the SOR Newswire put together by Captain Shirk, and, of course, you can just hang out with us. Check it on out. Have some fun. Tonight we are talking with Reverend Keith Bradley from the United Methodist Church, and we are talking Christmas traditions, Christmas history, Christmas past, Christmas ghosts, paranormal. Keith, there's a lot of people out there who believe that the Bible is the most paranormal book in the world, my friend. Do you see it that way as well?
I'm one of them, absolutely. Everything about those books, because it's in the Protestant faith, it's 66 books. The Catholic, it's making my head hurt. Someone will have to correct me. 74 or 72 books, and everything in there is supernatural. It is outside of the normal. Is paranormal, and one of the reasons we have disconnected from that narrative and disconnected from this season is because we have disconnected the supernatural from the physical. We can blame those wonderful intellectuals in the age of reason and reform, where the miracle and the supernatural was poo-pooed. And without that, the Bible is not the Bible. Without that, the faith is not the faith. And I would say this goes for all faiths, just not the Christian faith. I read this past week some things on Hanukkah, and some of the rabbis complaining that it's becoming too commercialized and you're just worried about the little gifts you get. I've read sites this week on those who hold to the older pagan religions. So I've got a lot of friends that do that, and how to keep the spirit of the holiday. And I think it's when we separate the physical from the supernatural. You don't need to separate them. They go hand in hand. I see this a lot in the Bigfoot community. I've had a crash course the last 2 weeks on Bigfoot community, because that's sort of new to me, and you've got Bigfoot, who's a physical reality, or a Bigfoot that is this supernatural reality, and very few in the middle that says, guess what? He's a physical and supernatural, a paranormal reality. And we got to break those camps down in everything. I think that's one of the reasons we lose the meaning of the season, no matter which faith you practice. Those who celebrate the returning of the light, those who celebrate the light of Jesus Christ, those who celebrate the miracle of the light of Hanukkah. It's when we get away from the supernatural.
Right. And I think the question needs to be asked then, Keith, is, you know, there's a lot of people out there who say this shouldn't be about the religious holiday. This should be about family. It should be about friends and relationships and love and peace and spreading what is good about this world rather than what is spreading bad. And that the whole religious concept should be taken out of the Christmas faith.
See,
What's your response to that?
Just the opposite. I would say put more of those religions that practice at this time of year. Because when you start lining them up, when you start marking off what they believe and why they believe it, you're going to find that we believe a lot of the same truths. Now, as a Christian, I would say, yeah, we believe a lot of the same truths, but I believe in the truth. That's why I'm a Christian. And a Jewish person would believe in the truth of the Torah. That's why they're Jewish. You know, they're raised Jewish. But, I mean, it's amazing when you go down the list of what we believe. And instead of getting away from the religious aspect, the supernatural aspect, the spiritual aspect, let's put it back in. And let's get rid of the commercial aspect. Let's get rid of the greed. Let's get rid of the competition of I've got to have a better Christmas gift than my neighbor. I've got to have better lights than my neighbor. Let's get back to community. Let's get back to family. Because when you get right down to it, Dave, the only person you can control, or the listeners, is themselves. You can't control what everyone thinks, what everyone does, but in my house, this is how we're going to do it. And you've got to buy into that faith of yours. So I would say just the opposite. The problem is we've gotten away from it. We need to go back to it, to those values, and embrace the values where we are similar. And where we're different, you're going to have to let live, and let's discuss it. Because if you believe your value is the truth, it will stand or fall on its own. Don't need to get all upset about it.
This leads to a question from Sharon in the chat room. And she is asking, Keith, when people channel spirits, isn't that the same as when the apostles, Moses, etc., were speaking or being spoke to by God or Jesus?
No. From a religious, from a Christian point of view, no, it isn't. Because when those people like Moses, those apostles, those who were inspired to write the scripture, it wasn't this kind of direct taking control, speaking through, okay? It wasn't, now you're going to have, the spirit of Charles Dickens come through, and here, I'm Charles, and you can ask me a question. That's not how inspiration worked, because we see that the writers of the Bible still had their own personalities. They still had their own worldview. They're being inspired by the Holy Spirit to do these things. They're being inspired by the Holy Spirit to speak for God. On a Sunday, if I've done everything right, if I have got myself in that state of grace I need to be in, if I done my homework with the scripture. Hopefully God is speaking through me to the congregation. But I'm not channeling God. It's still Keith. I still get tongue-tied. I still say the wrong thing. And there's still my prejudice and my sense of humor that comes out. So there's a difference. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I'd answer.
I would disagree with that. I would. And the reason why I would when it comes to channeling is because the first channeling experience I had was actually quite a religious experience when I channeled the angel of death, who I saw in my mother's eyes.
Okay.
And literally he told me how to keep my mother alive.
Okay.
And this is going back to December 13th, 2011. And so we're just past the 7-year mark of that happening. And I'll tell you, my mother's still alive.
Well, see, maybe the problem we're having is definition. I wouldn't call that channeling. That was a visitation.
Well, when he's speaking through me, I would call that channeling.
He's speaking to you.
No, he was speaking through me. No, he was speaking through me. Because I had his words. Mrs. SOR was in the same room with me, and she was speaking to him, and he was speaking through me to her. I don't recall I don't recall it. I recall bits and pieces.
Okay.
I don't recall the 38 minutes that I was pretty much out.
I got you. Which would be different than what the apostles would do, because there's no indication they would do that. And I'm not saying that what you experienced didn't have religious overtones. I believe it did, from what I'm hearing. And I'm not here to judge the validity of it. Your mother's alive, so there's that, and praise God for that. But it's different than what the apostles did. That is different. There is no loss of control. For 38 minutes, you didn't know what was going on. We don't see that in Scripture. There is no loss of control. There is no lost time. They're always in control. God doesn't take over. He doesn't speak with that voice in that way. I don't know if I'm making sense or not. I probably need a blackboard.
No, I understand that, but I think there is also more duality to the subject. And I think that, we don't know whether you are a biblical student such as you are, or whether you are somebody like me who runs around just wondering what the heck is going on. I think there is more to the subject that we both can learn by putting the stories and the experiences together. I mean, we could say the same thing about the UFO field or the ghostly field or anything along those lines.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then this is where I get upset with my brethren and sisters. No, that's not right. Sisters. In the faith, where they don't want to hear this, or they would label that as something not of God. Well, how do you know? How do you know? Let's listen. Let's learn, because in the realm of religion, but let me keep it in my own wheelhouse. In the realm of Christianity, if a pastor, a priest, a reverend says they know everything, well, they're either crazy, they're either a fool, or they're trying to sell you something. And it's usually the latter. They're trying to sell you something, because there's no one that knows everything. And even the Bible is not a book of everything. There's a whole lot that's not in the Bible. Microwaves are not in the Bible. Do they exist? Yes. And I use them, and I love them. but they're not in the Bible. So this is when we need to talk. We need to listen, to learn from each other, and then go back to our beliefs and look at them and see if they fit into anywhere. And you might find they don't. That doesn't lessen the person's faith. It just shows the mystery of life. And isn't that great? I mean, I would hate living in a world where we knew everything, where there was no mystery. I'd hate to be in a religion there was no mystery. I want the mystery. I want to say I have no idea, because I serve a God who's unknowable. You know, as soon as I learn everything about him, guess what? There's one more thing, you know. And we live in a world that is just beyond our belief. So we need to open our eyes. We need to learn to discern. We need to be led by the Spirit. We need to listen to each other.
Let's move on here in regards to a question here, and this comes from Bill. Yeah, the one who sets the passwords. Bill. I know. Excuse me. I know. And he says, Dave, you have mentioned a few times your experience where you say you channeled the angel of death. Are you saying it was Azrael? I have no idea who it was. I don't recall the name. So I don't know if it was Azrael or someone else or whatever it was. I really do not recall the name.
And I couldn't tell you. I'm not up on angelology. But under the Christmas tree, I have a book on angels that my wife's giving me. I don't know which one it is, but I'm looking forward to digging into it.
Oh, that's nice. What, she tipped you off to what you're getting already?
I gave her a list. When it comes to books, every Christmas I give her a list of about, 10 to 15 books. And I mark the ones I definitely want. So I know that one's there. Plus I get the Amazon bill. So I know that one's there. But she's been sneaky. She's been buying things outside of Amazon, and I don't get to see them. But because the books I like, they're theological books, or they're, this year I've got some, paranormal books in there, and she would never find them unless I gave her a list. She would never think to buy, some of these books. So I always give her a list. But,
well, that's nice of her. That's nice of her. How long have you two been married?
We have been married. Is this a quiz? This is a quiz. I know it is. Will be 32 years.
Beautiful.
Come May.
Good for you.
We met at college.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. Continuing our discussion here, because I think it's also important, and we only got about 4 minutes to go to break here, but I think it's also important, Keith, to come to the reality that commercialization has played a huge part in a lot of the direction of the way people think and treat the Christmas holiday tradition. It's not the fact that, it's about happy holidays or anything along those lines, or season's greetings, but it's more along the fact that, a lot of people are getting very upset that major stores aren't even waiting for Halloween to be over, let alone Veterans Day or Remembrance Day up here for veterans, before they are stocking their shelves with Christmas goodies and Christmas deals and so on and so forth. How has commercialization, in your opinion, affected the holiday tradition?
I believe it's gutting it. I believe it is ripping the soul out of it. Not only is it cheapening the practice of the season, and when I say of the season, I mean, the whole season, those who celebrate during this time of the year, whether they're Christian or not. because it's about greed and avarice and want, and it leads to unmet expectations, and that leads to depression and guilt. And that's why we see a lot of that, I believe, around the holidays, because there is this, Madison Avenue, this is the perfect Christmas, and you've got to have this perfect gift, and this perfect family, and this perfect turkey, and guess what? None of us have that. We can't meet that expectation. And so we become depressed and lonely and bitter, or we buy into it, and we've got to have more and more and more, and we go into debt greater and greater.
And that's a big part. That's a big part about it is the Christmas debt. I mean, people are thinking for the now until they get that credit card statement near the end of January, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I spent all of that."
All of that, and I think it's because they're looking to fill a void in their lives, and I'm going to fill it with stuff, and I've got to do this. There's a pride thing involved. If I have enough stuff and enough Christmas, I'll be happy. They're missing the mark. They're missing the mark. One of the things we have in the church, we didn't have one this year, is we have blue Christmas services. That's for those who are depressed, who are lonely, who are down at this time of year. And we have a special service for them to help pick them up, to help to say, listen, it's okay. We're here with you. We love you. We're beside you. There is hope. There is light. And it's a shame we have to do that in a way, but I'm glad we're doing it. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but with the way big box stores are going, and maybe, we only got about 45 seconds here, but with the way they are going, is it the advertisement? Is it too much for people's brains today because of the amount of advertisement, the amount of bulk product that people can buy, and so on and so forth? I mean, look at Black Friday. I mean, that's a disaster on its own. I cheer people on. I love watching the videos, Keith. I'm not going to lie.
I know it's like watching some of the best hockey fights ever, isn't it?
Oh, it's better than hockey fights because we haven't had a brawl in hockey in years.
I tell you, what it is that they are preying upon the worst inclinations of humans. And if you do not have that spiritual base, easy to fall prey to it. Easy to fall prey to it with the spiritual base. But unless you have a spiritual underpinning, a moral foundation that says, this is what it's about.
Keith, I'm going to get you to hold on. Hold that thought. Reverend Keith Bradley talking Christmas, traditions, and so much more on Spaced Out Radio tonight. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot THAL, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose, Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything is an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair at SOR headquarters, welcoming all of you back tonight. Reverend Keith Bradley is our guest tonight from the United Methodist Church. We're talking Christmas traditions, Christmas history, commercialization, so much more. Reverend Keith, thank you for being with us tonight.
I am always glad to be with you, Dave.
I appreciate that. And just so you know, Reverend Keith is a pretty frequent visitor to our chat room as well that we have on Spreaker. So if you ever want to chat with him, he's usually hiding in there somewhere. You just gotta go, yoo-hoo, and he
even lurking at times.
Yes. Exactly. Now, right before the break, we were talking about the commercialization of Christmas, and I had mentioned Black Friday, but we ran out of time. I mean, in reality, that's where all the weird things start, man. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I have developed an addiction, a complete addiction to watching Black Friday brawls. I think it's hilarious. People ripping dolls out of children's hands and, tackling other people, kicking over strollers and, it's a beautiful thing. It is the absolute worst of society. It really is. But that's where the whole materialism and commercialization for the holiday actually comes in. It really begins with that, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And like you mentioned, we start at Halloween now, with Christmas, because this is when the retailers are going to make their mark. And I agree with you. It's one of those things I pray about, but I know I love watching some of the videos and going, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. It's like, I don't know, a cage match. I remember when we first moved to Atlanta. That was the first big town I'd ever lived in, big city. And on Christmas, they had the reports, the live reports out there, the helicopters over them all, telling people where to park and where the lines were. And, there's a stampede here at, Macy's. I was like, this is incredible. I watched it all day long. It was like wrestling or something. And I know that's not right of me, but I hear you. But yeah, I think that's where the commercialization starts. And the history of Christmas, the way we celebrate has changed through the years. In Britain, Christmas was a rowdy party, a drunken, riot. Of course, before that, we had more drunken festivities and orgies and things of that nature, and it morphs over the years. And the Puritans didn't even celebrate Christmas. In fact, in Boston, there was laws against celebrating Christmas. And probably around the time of Dickens, Washington Irving, we got more of what we've come to know as the tidings of good cheer Christmas. But this commercialism, this religion of buying, it's way out of hand. It's destroying the season for everyone, I believe.
This leads to another question in regards to it. Have we become too materialistic in regards to Christmas is about spending rather than about the time with, and take the religious side out of it, but rather than focusing on, mending relationships, getting along with people, saying hello to people, hugging people that you haven't hugged in a long time, making sure that you take that extra long time for that phone call, because I look at it and I hate to, bring in a personal example of this, but there's a lot of people on this planet who are going to be like our family this year, where we lost a very key component of our family in my 29-year-old nephew earlier this year. That sucks. And there's a lot of people who are going through that. All you have to do is look at social media. But do we forget to take those moments, Keith, because of the materialism, and just enjoy the fact, take the time to look around and enjoy the fact that, the kids are getting bigger. Everybody's a year older. Everybody's, going through their own staples and their own problems. But this is that one time where we should be able to gel and bond together and put these petty grievances in the past for the sake of what is right, instead of making it personal all the time. Do we forget that because of the materialism?
We forget it because of the materialism, but I still think that's a symptom of a deeper issue, that as humanity, we are losing connection with each other. We don't do the face-to-face. We do the electronic and the digital, and we don't do those things that build community, real community. And so we have things like this. I think the materialism is driven by this deeper issue of the loss of connectivity, the loss of family, of community, whatever that family or community might be. If you would remember back to a favorite Christmas in your past, I'd ask this to everyone listening. And if I asked you what it was, I would doubt that very many people would say, it was the year I got X. It was the year I got the Rock'em Sock'em robots. You see how old I am.
I remember those.
I did too. Yeah, I had a pair. But if you ask me, the Christmas I remember was the Christmas when my dad came home from Vietnam. See, it's still there for all of us. It's still about people. It's still about family. It's still about love. But it's being beaten down by all this, and the commercialism grows stronger as we grow apart from each other, from our families. And how do you the question is, okay, if that's the problem, how do you fix it? Well, at some point, each one of us has to plant a flag in the ground and say no more. Do the whole Jean-Luc Picard, this far, no farther. And say, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to celebrate that way, and we're going to celebrate this way. We're going to celebrate in the way that is not material. And I tell you who gave me the greatest lesson in this was an individual who wasn't of my faith. He was Islamic. And the holiday season fell at the time of Ramadan that year. And my wife babysat their kids, because that's what my wife did. She has a master's degree in early childhood education. She was the director of the center. And we were in desperate need of a used car, and they had one, and we were going to buy it. And the night, it was right before Christmas, and we were really low on money. I mean, really low. And they were just going to charge us $500. We were going to make payments. He came, gave me the keys, and said it's a gift because this is what we do on Ramadan. We give to those in need. And it opened my eyes to the fact that even though we're different, there is values out there that we can embrace when we say, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to go out on Black Friday. It's not going to be about all the presents. We are going to reach out to friends and family. We are going to minister to the sick and the lonely. You can't change society, but you can change you.
Absolutely, you can change you. But there's a lot of people out there who say, look, I have no family to go to. Maybe their parents have passed on. Maybe they're orphaned. Maybe, they, due to unforeseen circumstances that they just don't want any part of it. I mean, we don't know the nightmares that people have gone through. Maybe they're an only child. Maybe they have no friends. They're recluse or introverted to the point where they just cannot go through it. They end up spending the holiday alone. And this is where the depression and everything comes in on that, Keith. And that is something that, we all have to be cognizant of as well.
Absolutely. This is where we have to step up. Isn't this one of my favorite stories, be it Christmas or not? Is A Christmas Carol. Isn't this the lesson that Dickens was trying to say to us? That humanity should be our business, as he said to Scrooge, that we should be reaching out. We should be seeking them out. We should be engaging them. That should be our business. That should be our business.
True that.
Everyone's. And when you do that, when you give, you get back so much more. You want to get rid of, and I'm talking to myself, because I struggle with depression. I have for over 25 years. To get me out of a depression, I give. I give my time. I give to the community. I give to my church. I give. Because when I'm putting myself out there helping someone else who needs my help, I forget about my situation. And I feel better. And so this is what we have to do. This is what we have to do as a people.
True. I want to get to a question here, Keith, from Sharon in the chat room. Sharon in Arkansas, Dave in BC here. Anyways, Keith, I believe you're in Wisconsin, are you not? Illinois, close enough.
Yeah, 2 hours from Everett.
Oh yes, you're north of Everett, aren't you?
West, almost due west.
Oh, west. Yeah, that whole Illinois thing, that whole central area just screws me right up. Being here on the West Coast, screws me right up. Anyway, Sharon in Arkansas is asking, do you, Keith, have any traditions in your church that are not Methodist that you participate in for Christmas?
Let me see. That are not Methodist. That's sort of a loaded question because the Methodists have a pretty big umbrella. We do the hanging of the greens. We do Advent reading and Advent candles, and we have Christmas Eve service. I'm trying to think. Really, no. Not that I can think of. We do some things at other times that you won't find in every Methodist church, like the blessing of the seeds before harvest time, or before planting time. We bless the seeds and pray over them, and and pray for a good and safe harvest, or planting and safe harvest, things like that. We do some things like that. But right now, off the top of my head, I'd say no. Most of the stuff we do is pretty normal, standard. You'll find it in most Protestant churches, most Methodist churches. This church up here is not very liturgical. It's not very high church. It's very casual, laid-back church, so you don't get a lot of the liturgy, and it's not high church, if you know what I mean. I don't wear a robe. A lot of times I don't wear a tie. It's very laid back, and but I can't think of anything that's outside the pale, so to speak. Maybe I'm just missing something, but anyway, no.
I think Trip here, as we got about 5 minutes here before we got to go to break, has a great question for you. He says, Christian churches over time have banned Christmas a few times in the past. Reverend Bradley, do you think we should cancel Christmas? And what do you see Christmas should be?
No, I don't think we should cancel Christmas. In fact, I don't think it'd be possible to do that. What we need to do is to refocus what Christmas is. Whether it's for me as a celebration of the birth of Christ, or for my friend Bragg, who it's the changing of the wheel of time, going into a new season at the solstice, whether it's at Hanukkah, the whole season. But in Christmas, no, we shouldn't ban Christmas, but let's put it back in focus. Let's talk about what Christmas is. Let's talk about the Christian meaning of Christmas, if you're a Christian, and talk about those things that are good and uplifting. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Why not? Why not? Maybe that way people would refocus. Sometimes everybody needs a refocus or a shift in plans.
Oh, that is true. As soon as you tell people, or at least North Americans, you can't do something, they'll want to do it. We're just that kind of people. And I think that goes for Americans or Canadians, or, you can't do that. Really? I can't do that, So, but I don't know how you would do it. How would you cancel Christmas?
I don't know.
Cancel Christmas. I don't know.
Be a good way to try. I mean, the idea that communism would be thrown everywhere, would become a major political debate, which I'm not sure is actually needed.
Yeah. You'd put a lot of people out of work.
Very true. Very true.
Yep.
Heard a lot of stores. Yeah. Wouldn't have to see those Hallmark movie ads. That would be a benefit. Every B League actor, or I should say C and D League actor right now, would be out of work without, coming back 30 years later after their career died in some, low budget Christmas special. It would be terrible.
It'd be terrible. I mean, yeah. And I mean, they have one story on there. They just changed the title, the characters, and the scenery. But it's the same story.
And snow always falls at the end.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't care where they're at. But I don't know how you'd cancel. But I think
as stupid as a thought as it is kind of an interesting thought. What would life be without Christmas?
Yeah, it is. It is. Or better yet, what would life be without the seasonal trappings of Christmas?
That's probably a better way to put it.
No tree, no gifts, no lights, no candy cane, no cookies.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. No cookies.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to my father today because we're going down on the weekend to spend it with my parents, and he's been saying, yeah, you better hurry up and get down here. Mother has been making doing a ton of baking, making a bunch of cookies. So get ready to have room in the freezer. I'm like, oh yeah, they won't even make the freezer, Dad. Won't even make the freezer.
We're just getting geared up. I have to make my wife something called a dioche for Christmas. Her family, she's part Hungarian, and it's some kind of this bread with raisins and walnuts as a filling and things. But yeah, that'd be out the window. I don't know.
Hear you.
That could be almost a good sermon trip. So thanks. I'll have to think on that.
I think it would be a good one.
Yeah,
I think it would be a good one. Reverend, you hold on. We got to go to break here at the top of the hour. We got Reverend Keith Bradley. I almost got you confused with our Keith Andrews there. I apologize. Boy, that would have been difficult.
Yeah,
we bring Keith in here. So
yeah,
I love our Keith. Reverend Keith Bradley is with us from the United Methodist Church. We got another half an hour talking Christmas before we get to the news with Olaf Phillips. Hour number 3, right around the corner on the mighty SOR. At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. And music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is Watching.
Looking for a place to advertise? Tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio or our website, including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Always a pleasure to be here for you. Tomorrow night on the program, Mike Morin is back with Ghosts of the Great White North. We have Morgan Knudsen, a Canadian ghost hunter, joining us as well. We get going at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on the SOR Radio Network and Deep Talk Radio. Remember, all of our archives are free for you at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Bill Cardwell has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Hypercathetics. Oh my gosh, I butchered it. Why can't I say it now? Hypercathesics? No, that's totally wrong. Why am I butchering this? I got it right the last time. Oh my gosh, I feel totally embarrassed right now. But Bill sets a password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot soon, shop at our brand new store, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and so much more. Hypercathexis. That's it, hypercathexis. Why couldn't I say that? Hypercathexis. It's easy. Darn it. Oh. Anyways, we're getting back to our guest tonight. Hypercathexis. Sometimes I hate live radio, Keith. Sometimes I hate it.
I hear you. I had that problem on Sunday morning.
Hypercathexis. How hard is that to say? Really, come on. It's terrible. Terrible effort. Beating myself up for that. United Methodist Church priest, or Reverend, I apologize again, Keith Bradley. Oh, hypercathexis. It's that damn password. It's got me all rattled now. Got me all rattled. Hypercathexis. I don't even know what it means. Don't even know what it means. But I didn't deserve a big mention there. But Reverend Keith Bradley is with us. We were talking Christmas traditions, history, commercialization. And right before the break, we actually got into a kind of an intriguing conversation that one of our listeners, Trip, brought up about canceling Christmas. What would that actually mean to people? And I don't think the majority of people out there, Keith, have really thought about that. You know, but on the flip side, a lot of people are now turning away from the traditions of, you know, and it's happening slowly, especially more in probably rural communities where people are taking that day to start new traditions. Traditions like, you know, maybe with the family getting together, a game of football or a game of hockey or some sort of, if you're in a winter, you know, atmosphere, maybe a snowball fight or something along those lines, rather than taking the focus off of the gifts, because let's face it, the prices are getting out of hand for a lot of people where they cannot afford it.
Yeah, on my dad's side of the family, the Bradleys, he had 12 brothers and sisters. And so when we would get together with them on Christmas, it wasn't about the gifts, because you'll go broke buying for all the brothers, the sisters, and their kids. And the Bradleys are hyper-competitive, and sports is God. I'm being facetious there. But with all those people, we had 2 full football teams we could field, and with substitutes, and we would play round-robin basketball with teams, and didn't do a lot of baseball because it's usually in the winter, but we would do the others, and it wasn't about the stuff. It was about being together and eating and horsing around and playing games and football and competing a lot, because that's what they did. But we've got to get back to.
You should see
to
the ribbing
family.
Cardwell. You should see the ribbing Cardwell has given me right now for butchering this password. Well deserved. Well deserved.
And could be worse. You could make him pronounce it online or live, and I think the words would change suddenly.
Well, in regards to the whole family tradition, do you see people moving away from the gifts and the budgets of shopping? Because let's face it, life is expensive right now. Politicians don't care, not to turn it political, but they don't seem to care. I mean, they're just trying to figure out any more way that they can squeeze $1 out of all of us, whether it's gas prices, whether it's, silly taxes or whatever they possibly can. And people are at their wits' end. People are struggling to pay bills. In never mind a single income family, but a dual income family sometimes is not enough either. And sure, the easy answer is to say to people that, curb your lifestyle, curb your spending. But a lot of people are just doing that to pay their bills, let alone to give something extraordinary like getting a manicure or pedicure once a month or once every few months or whatever it is, right? Like there's not a lot of frivolous spending going on out there. And with Christmas time, I see it like even in our own family and numerous families that I know that, you start creating games out of it to try and lessen the budget. Like we do a Secret Santa where the person who draws the last number has the opportunity to steal. Right? Whatever they want and trade gifts. I mean, that's a lot of fun for us, but that's just the way it kind of goes. So, I mean, when you're looking at things and you're looking at the way the entire system now works, are we seeing new traditions being made in lieu of gifts or in lieu of military service or in lieu of what is keeping family apart?
I don't know. I really don't know. That would have been good to know if we thought of it beforehand. And I would ask my church people, what are you doing for Christmas? That's not traditional spend and unwrap gifts. What do you do? And it'd be interesting to find out what if they do different things. But see, once again, we're back to that coming back home, connecting once again with each other. I really believe, Dave, that we, the humanity, and this may be, tinfoil hat time, but I believe we are in a struggle that is not physical. And all of us are in this. And at this time where we celebrate the light light against the darkness, the light returning, whether it be Christianity or other religions, I believe we have this adversary out there that you may call the adversary the devil, you may call it, whatever you will. But I believe we have an adversary out there that lives and relishing our suffering, our anguish, and I see this part of that system. And this entity, for lack of a better term, like I said, this may be a little far out, this entity is an expert at turning things that were good, let's twist it. So now it's bad and it hurts and enslaves and traps people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's just a little bit. It's like tuning the guitar, just one string a little bit out of tune will throw the whole chord off. That's what you see. Christmas is good, but now let's twist it. Let's twist it and look what misery we can cause by just a little twist. That's why I said early on, this is a supernatural thing that's happening. And and I see the struggle across faiths. Everyone's feeling it.
You make a good point. And, like I was thinking during the break and even to now about, you mentioned, we should all look back and say, what's been in our lifetimes our favorite part of Christmas? And I don't remember the toys. There's one toy I remember. It was a remote control truck. I thought that was just the most awesome thing ever. But I don't really remember the toys. I couldn't tell you about the racetracks or Lego or whatever sets I got. There's a lot of memories. But I think when it comes down to it, a year ago, I hadn't seen my nephew who passed away this summer. I hadn't seen him in 7 years. 7 years. And, when I look at it, we had arrived at my parents' house and my dad was going to pick up my nephew from his rehab facility and brings him and just coincidentally, I happen to be outside unloading the truck and my dad pulls up with my nephew. And, apparently my nephew was really, really worried about seeing me again because when he kind of took off on us, he kind of ended things poorly with me. But I just walked up to him and gave him a big hug, told him I missed him. That's what I think is one of those moments because I won't get that again. Or when you think about it, for those who have lost parents, I mean, you go through these times of years thinking, man, I would love my grandmother's Lazy Man's cabbage rolls that she used to make. Nobody has ever made them like her.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me. That's what, thinking, I really want those Lazy Man's cabbage rolls. And my grandmother's been passed since 1988. That's a long time, man. 30 years. But I mean, I look at it and I'm like, what would I give up for that? I got a couple of comments here from our chat rooms here that I want to pass on. This one comes from John on Twitter. He speaking about, gifts and gifting traditions and stuff. He goes, exactly, Dave. I was going broke trying to keep up with the Joneses around Christmas time. I was so happy when my family decided to just stop giving gifts and we could just spend time with each other. That really shows that those games that you play, maybe the football game that you watch together or that dinner that you have, or even, after dinner, everybody chips in doing the dishes or whatever. That seems to be more important the older that you get, is that time. Would you agree with that, Keith?
Oh, I agree that it gets more important the older we get. That's wisdom. As we see beyond the superficial, that we see what's truly important, the things that last. He's on the mark with it.
Let's get to a comment from Dale, Uncle Dale. We never know if it's Uncle Dale or his power mustache that's actually typing the comment because it has a mind of its own.
Yes.
And he is saying, I think most Americans, and I'm going to throw Canadians in there as well, have no idea what a Christian Christmas celebrates. It is the coming of the salvation into the world, the dawning of the light of God, the coming into the world of God as a human being so he could save us from darkness and separation from God. When you look at the 21st century idea of Christmas, comparatively to what the traditional message is there a blend where both sides could be happy out there, Keith?
Where both sides of those that don't want any of that and those who want that could be happy? I don't know. It would depend, I think, and this is just off the cuff, it would depend what you do next with that message. if that's just the message and there's no action behind that, I think it would not go over. But if you have that message and say, and this is why we work at the soup kitchen, and this is why we visit the nursing home, and this is why we, give out gift baskets, and this is why, just go down the line. I think it becomes, oh, I understand. And you're doing this because Christmas is the time we celebrate when Jesus Christ came into the world, was born of a virgin, the whole, Nicene Apostles' Creed, I think that is what we need to do. And that's what the church should be doing, and that's what we should be doing. You want to form a memory? On Christmas Day, go work at a soup kitchen. You'll form a memory. You'll form a good memory.
We got about 7 minutes left with you tonight, my friend. And in regards to the entire celebration of Christmas, combining all the different religions, combining all the different traditions, whether it's Santa Claus, there is a great debate in regards. If you look at Santa Claus, all right, the whole elves, the non-religious side is always played on the Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, if you want to go there, on two of the most religious holy days of the Christian faith. When you look at Santa Claus and you see your fellow pastors who are, telling their congregations that Santa Claus isn't real, or recently we had a teacher in the United States tell the grade 3 class that Santa Claus was a myth. Are we just so profound in our beliefs that we got to break the innocent spirits of children? Is that wrong, or is telling them the truth what it should be about, rather than keeping that little white lie because we don't want to offend anybody?
Well, I think in that regard, it wasn't her place. Whether it's right or wrong to tell that little white lie, it wasn't that teacher's place to do that. I know my mother, I was raised in a very conservative Christian home, and she told me Santa Claus, this is Santa Claus. And when I said, why does he do this? And she came back, because of Jesus Christ, because he is our gift, and, the whole 9 yards. So I think we need to keep the mystery. We need to keep the for lack of a better term, the magic of Christmas. And we need to apply it not to commercialism or getting, but to the idea of he gives. I told you once before that for me, Christmas Eve becomes a thin place where heaven and earth come together for me. And it does at that time, and a lot of it has to do with my memories and my being close to God at those times, and the hope that we have, the hope in the light, the hope of the light. And, our world needs that right now. We need hope. Because it's in short supply out there. And Christmas is all about hope.
Have we forgot that, though?
Yeah. And that's why it's up to me and you and all the rest of us who are listening to this, who understand that, to start talking about it and showing there is hope. There is hope. You are loved. You are an important part of this world. And it happens one person at a time. And as one person changes and another changes, pretty soon you've changed society. That's the only way societal changes happen and are successful. They cannot come from the top down political. It doesn't work. It doesn't last. But one person at a time. That's how it changes.
But has it become an individual message, though, for such a mass holiday?
I don't understand. Say that again.
Well, I mean, you just mentioned it just has to, happen one person at a time. But going one person at a time, I mean, that could take centuries to change the message when realistically there's, with the commercialization, with the debate and the political correctness that goes along with the holiday now, there seems to be a lot of, it needs to be a lot more than just one person, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, but the thing of it is, it's not just one. It grows exponentially. And the other thing is, we didn't get this way overnight. The cure is not going to be overnight. It's going to have to come. One person at a time, one family at a time, one community at a time. And here's another truth that's hard to accept. It may never change, Dave. It may never change. But that doesn't mean you and your house has to follow that. We sometimes think that. We get this kind of group thought. But don't have to be lemmings. We don't have to follow the commercialism. Me and my house, we do this. Because, once again, that's all you can control. You. I can't control anyone else. And so it's a sad day. But I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful we can turn around one person at a time. And 1 year at a time.
Why not?
And got to have hope.
Reverend Keith, we got less than 1 minute left with you tonight, my friend, and it has been an absolute pleasure for you to come in here and kind of break down the entire gamut of Christmas, from traditions to history to commercialization. Really appreciate you taking the time to do this, my friend.
Well, I enjoy talking to you, Dave. I enjoy talking about the things I like, and I hope I've been able to make myself clear, at least, and shed a little light.
Absolutely, you have. Absolutely,
I appreciate it, Dave.
Just remember to tell your congregation, when in doubt, aliens. It's always aliens, my friend.
I think I've said that from the pulpit. I really have.
I hope you have. I'm
the weirdest pastor they've ever had. So
perfect. Reverend Keith, Merry Christmas to you and your family, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Okay, brother. Have a good night.
Take care. Coming up next, we got Olaf Phillips, the SOR Newswire, coming up on the Mighty SOR.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com. Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Visit Purple Place. Amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the place have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is spaced out radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Here we go. We've rounded third. We are heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We welcome Snickers into the Twitterverse, joining us at hashtag Spaced Out Radio now. Hi, Snickers. How you doing? Anyways, right now we go to the SOR Newswire with Paranoia Magazine's Olaf Phillips, the man, the myth, the Team Stump legend. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire on a nightly basis. For all the weird, the strange, the WTF that goes on in this world. You can catch it on our website, spacedoutradio.com, by clicking on the Newswire, put together by Captain Shirk. And from Paranoia Magazine, we bring in Olaf Phillips. How you doing, buddy?
Greetings and salutations. I'm doing okay.
What's your Christmas tradition?
What's my Christmas tradition? I don't know. I never really thought about it. Opening presents?
Well, here's an interesting question. You make
a ham.
So, do you go like Marge Simpson type glaze on there, or what?
No, I usually buy it pre-glazed, and then I cook it, and I make all the whole meal myself.
Oh, that's actually kind of fun. That's nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
I'll make some candied yams, mashed potatoes, probably some asparagus.
Nice.
Kids like asparagus. Yeah.
See, in our family... go ahead. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
Well, and you know, we just hang out. It's a low-key, low-stress, open presents, act dumb, have a good time. I'm making Bigfoot gingerbread cookies.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. We have, because I'm Ukrainian by heritage, we have a tradition, and that is eating raw garlic cloves.
Okay.
So you get out of Christmas, man, you're pretty stinky for a few days, but the blood feels. But I'll tell you this, you actually feel better. You know what I'm saying? You feel better. It's almost like you feel like your blood is all of a sudden moving smoother through the body.
Yeah, I get it.
I enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
I think I'm going to try to make some Lucia. I'm Scandinavian, so I'm going to try to make some Lucia buns and that kind of thing.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. My friend, what do you got for us in the news?
Ex-NASA engineer's fart-laced glitter bomb Sons package thieves.
I love this idea. Love this idea. I heard about it.
All that glitters is not gold for package thieves if they run afoul of Mark Rober's booby trap device. Rober, a former NASA engineer who worked on the Curiosity rover, put his smarts on a more earthly concern recently, stopping jerks who pilfer holiday package deliveries. Rober, himself a victim, spent 6 months developing a baited box that blasts glitter and fart spray on would-be thieves when they open their surprise. The thieves also take the device also takes cell phone video of the culprits, uploads the footage to the cloud, and can be tracked by GPS. Rober's viral YouTube video posted Monday covers the development of the clever boxes of whoop-ass. But the best part is watching them detonate on real suspects. The most common reaction is WTF. The moral of the story is just don't take other people's stuff, Rober said. Not only is it not cool, but on the plus side, you'll never find yourself in this situation. Other TikTok victims use glitter-loaded theft deterrents, but the high-tech touches of Rober's unleashed on these Grinches is a must-see.
I think it's fantastic. It's like these glitter bomb letters that you can send to, like, your former boss or
sure
people you don't like. I love that.
Right.
I think it's fantastic because you know, with glitter, you know, Olaf, that's going to be years of remembrance because you never get rid of the glitter. You never do.
Oh no, it's like sand. It gets everywhere.
Yeah. You never get rid of it. And I think it's fantastic that this former NASA engineer has created such a luxury for people who are getting ripped off.
I totally agree.
Let's move on to the next story, my friend.
A Florida man loses pants during burglary. The police in Florida need help identifying a not-so-smooth criminal who used a fire extinguisher to make a hole in the wall at a Lakeland Hyundai dealership on November 18th. Either the hole wasn't big enough or he just was ill-prepared to climb through it. He spent more than a minute trying to illegally maneuver his way inside the business. His feet dangled in the air behind him, and he struggled to squeeze himself inside. But when he got in, he nearly fell down when trying to stand. Perhaps he slipped on a piece of drywall that knocked on the floor, or maybe it wasn't easy to regain his composure with his trousers around his ankles. If that wasn't bad enough, police posted surveillance footage of his struggle on the department's Facebook page for the world to see. They even added circus music to it.
Oh, that's just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Isn't it?
I mean, only in Florida could a criminal lose their pants in the middle of a heist.
Oh, it just gets better, Dave.
Oh, fill me in.
You ready? A Florida man arrested for shoplifting at Kohl's after job interview. A Florida man who just finished a job interview at Kohl's store ended up leaving in handcuffs. Dominic Breedlove is charged with retail theft after deputies said he tried to shoplift shoes just minutes after he left a job interview at a store in Spring Hill. After leaving the Human Resources Office, the Hernando County Sheriff's Office says Breedlove spotted 2 pairs of Nike shoes without security tags. Authorities said he grabbed the Kohl's shopping bag from a previous purchase out of his car and put both shoes into the bag and tried to leave the building. He did not get very far. A loss prevention worker was watching him the entire time and called the sheriff's office to report the crime in progress. Breedlove was taken into custody in the parking lot. Breedlove told investigators he was going to give the shoes to his mother. Obviously, he did not get the job.
At least he wasn't selling them in the parking lot.
No, that was yesterday.
I know. I mean, it's a step up from yesterday. It's a step up from yesterday. But I mean, how do you go for a job interview and then walk out and say, well, I'm just going to take a pair of runners now? Or I'm sorry, the American word, sneakers now.
You know, I'm really not sure. I mean, I bet you they're really glad they didn't hire him.
No kidding.
For real.
No kidding. I mean, what is it? Was the guy high?
No. He just thought the shoes looked cool, and apparently he thought his mom would like a pair of Nikes.
Wow. Heaven forbid if you got to work for it.
Oh, I know. Heaven forbid.
Only in Florida.
The stuff that comes out of Florida, you just got to love it.
It is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
It is.
God bless Florida right now. I love this tradition that we have. Speaking of traditions, having a Florida story a night, this is almost as good as watching Black Friday videos on YouTube. Almost as good.
You know what I watched today? One of the many paranoias found this thing on YouTube, and it was these like crazy watches. And they had this like $3 million watch that was like shaped like a space station and had like 238 gears inside of it.
Oh, wow.
Like $3 million. Yeah.
Well, I have hot wings. I have hot wings in my fridge right now that I'm going to pig out on after the show. That's about the excitement of my life right now. Hot wings sitting in the fridge. I'm going to make up the hot sauce for it too. None of this messing around with this Frank stuff.
I had spaghetti from the spaghetti factory. Is that exciting?
Let's move on to the next story, man. Fill us in.
Tensions flare when neighbors breathe fire over dragging Christmas display. A Louisiana woman's choice of Christmas decorations has led one of her nosy neighbors to question whether she may be involved in a demonic cult. In what has become a holiday tradition, author Diana Rowland decorates her front yard each Halloween and Christmas with festive dragons, but this year one neighbor has taken offense. Your dragon display is only marginally acceptable for Halloween, a note left for Rowland read. It is totally inappropriate for Christmas. It makes your neighbors wonder if you are involved in a demonic cult. Speaking to BuzzFeed News, you know that's a great source, Rowland said she chortled when receiving the hate mail and then responded by adding more halo-wearing dragons to the display. I did consider removing them for about a nanosecond and then went, nope, she said. Rowland's neighbors may think she needs help from God in knowing the true meaning of Christmas, but she thinks she's already got it down pat, spreading joy. Christmas is about joy. That's what it boils down to, she said. If you're a Christian, you're feeling joy about the birth of Christ. We should all be looking for things to be joyful about. There's no denying that the dragons have brightened up the holiday season for many, including the thousands on Twitter who have caused Rowland's display to go viral. It's got more reactions than I ever expected, she said. I think this obviously resonated with a lot of people. I think there are a lot of people who have experiences with bad neighbors.
You know what? There's a situation a little bit different in Ontario right now, where this neighbor called the city to have a gentleman tear down his backyard ice rink because it was an eyesore.
Really?
And the city actually came by, the ordinance officer came by and said, yeah, you got to tear it down. We've had a complaint.
Really?
Now the mayor has jumped on board and says, literally, what is this world coming to when we're telling kids not to play outside?
Yeah.
Like
it's in his backyard.
Actually, it's. I apologize. It's on the side yard. Okay, so it's in between the two properties, right? But I mean, kids from all over the neighborhood go there and skate, and all it takes is one nosy Nancy or nosy Ned, whatever you want to say, who hates everything to ruin the party for everyone. So somebody actually put a big sign up there and said, thank you for ruining my children's Christmas holidays or the area's children's Christmas, right? Because all the kids were playing hockey out there. geez, I don't know about anybody else, but I sure as heck would love an eyesore of a hockey rink being in someone's yard here where my child can run around or skate around and play a little hockey rather than sitting inside playing video games.
I totally agree.
You know, and as far as that lady putting up, you know, dinosaurs or dragons, why not be creative? Doesn't mean anything.
You know, in my front yard, I have Santa leaning out of a trailer, looking at Frosty, who's melted his hand, trying to barbecue carrots, while looking at the Yeti from the Rudolph Rudolph claymations, while having, you know, some minions drive by. That's in my front yard. And I got Scooby-Doo, and I've got Santa with his butt on fire being put out with a fire extinguisher by Rudolph. And tomorrow my Christmas llama goes up in front too. You know, just have fun with it. Oh, and I have like a 6 foot, or no, like an 8 foot tall dog. You know, just have fun with it. It's about being happy.
I agree. And on that note, we're going to get to the thought of the day.
Let's do it.
You can see Jamie Sexton plucking away on his Gibson's Les Paul on this one. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask you a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation. So today's Thought of the Dave is, what do you love or hate about Christmas? Tis the I can't even speak. Tis the theme for tonight's show. That's all I wanted to say. Apparently it was difficult, much like the password by Cardwell. Second time around. Still upset about that. I don't know how I butchered that password. How do you butcher hypercathexis? Hypercathexis.
I don't know how you spell that.
HYPERCATHEXIS. Hypercathexis. Yeah. No pressure now. Get it right. Don't get the big mention. It's a little embarrassing. Anyways, let's get to the thought of the day. Start off with the beautiful, lovely, and talented goddess Michelle. She says, I love that I have a big feast with a lot of people there. I hate the bye side of Christmas. But my favorite part is watching The Grinch. Why not? Gregory loves family time. Hates the pressure on families, though, that have to spend a lot of money. PJ hates the loneliness. You know what? I figured out something that I'm going to do here. A lot of people may not agree with me. But I'm really, really leaning, and I'll let the cat out of the bag. I was going to make it a surprise. I'm really leaning on Christmas night on doing a live show. No guests, just anybody who wants to kind of call in, hang out, just talk. Maybe we'll spin some Bumblefoot music. Just hang out. Because there's a lot of people who are going to be sitting around at night saying, well, what do I do now? This is supposed to be an SOR night. So I haven't made the 100% decision yet, but I might fire it up on Monday night. I just might. So.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm leaning that way, to be honest. Because I don't know what the hell I do in my evenings. You know? Let's see. What else do we got here on Twitter? I'm scrolling down.
I watch a search for Oak Island.
Rick likes pigs in a blanket for Christmas. Christine loves the decorations, the food, desserts. Hates the extra insensitive, selfish people, though. She must shop on Black Friday. Damo. Andrew Burke says, I hate that I cannot receive a gift without feeling great. Now I owe someone something, despite anyone saying, don't you think you have to give me one too? You know? Ron. Love. Lights, cookies, and gremlins. Hate. The crowds, extra traffic, and Black Friday. Come on! Black Friday is awesome. Mr. Human Target. When you don't have any family, it completely sucks and it's just another day. Well, you come hang out with us. See, that's why I'm going to do that show. That's why. You know? Joe, my mother would have made me take my shoes off before entering the UFO. Oh, my goodness. See what's over on Facebook before we got a jet here. Chris, I love the lights, mesmerizing, calming, and peaceful to me. Not to mention some people decorate all out with beautiful lights and themes. Gail loves everything about Christmas, including her favorite Rob Zombie album, Merry Little UFO Christmas. She has a crush on Rob Zombie. As with all things that matter, she says, it is what you choose to make of it. Just look at Charlie Brown's Christmas tree for proof.
That's right.
Christine, being with my family all in one place. Jonathan, I love Christmas and the meaning it really has. What I don't like, though, is how commercial it has become. And the music gets a little annoying after a while, but it's okay. I think we got time for one more. We'll go to Kevin and Kevin's Beard. Nothing to hate. Love the family gatherings and the opportunity to praise the birth of the Savior with the family I don't see often. It's a good way to end it right there. Tell us where we find Paranoia Magazine, Mr. O.
ParanoiaMagazine.com. Check out our t-shirts. They're awesome.
I love that. And thank you. You can find the SOR News Wire on spaceoutradio.com. Click on the news tab or our Facebook page, the SOR News Wire. Big thank you to Reverend Keith Bradley coming on talking about Christmas. Tomorrow night of the program, it's Ghosts of the Great White North, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spaceoutradio.com. Why I whispered that, I don't know. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thank you to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. All of you in the chat rooms and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Thanks for playing along, because together, my friends, we own the night. I'll talk to you in 21 hours from now. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.